Hey team, all right, welcome to tonight's call. Sorry for that little bit of a blip. So my name is Dr. Tanda Cook. I am super excited to be on this call, and we have people from all over the world listening in. And my intention for this call tonight is to keep it brief. We'll try. I have a lot to get through. But my intention for you is to walk away with the understanding that you have choice in your life, from everything from what's going on your skin, in your mouth, and what you get to do on a daily basis, because that matters. And then to get that anything is possible when you decide that is what you want to do. So just so we're all on the same page, I am a naturopathic doctor. Naturopathic physicians are trained as general healthcare practitioners. And we become experts instead of becoming experts in drugs and surgery, we become experts in alternative therapy like nutrition, lifestyle coaching, herbal medicine, and homeopathy. And I heard a stat the other day that I thought was pretty interesting, is that naturopathic physicians actually have an average of 97 hours worth of nutritional training, and versus the medical doctors have an average of about 4.25 hours. So we have extensive training in food and nutrition, which is really where I found my passion, which many of you have known. We also are trained to search to the origin of disease, or to get to the root cause of disease. And we don't focus on necessarily what's happening in the body, migraines, but why it's happening in the body. Like, is it a hormone imbalance? Is it a toxicity issue? Are there food allergies, et cetera, et cetera? So the two tenets that really kind of got me hooked into naturopathic medicine is, because naturopathic medicine is based on several tenets, but one of them was food. Food is teacher, yes. No, doctor is teacher. Doctor means teacher, and many of you who know me know that I take that very seriously. I love teaching, and I am fascinated by how the body works, and I think that everybody is deserving of that. So I am committed to teaching and then following nature's laws, which we will go over. So who am I, right? So as naturopathic doctors, we have an extensive training in food, nutrition, homeopathy, lifestyle coaching, IV therapy, minor surgery, delivering babies. So we have a giant toolbox to pull from in terms of how we can treat people in disease. And I declared myself a food expert. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a dietitian. I am not interested in counting calories. I am very interested in teaching people about food and how it either adds health to our life or takes it away. I am a healthy living and nutritional coach, and I take that very seriously because I feel like coaches teach. And I'm the co-author of Food That Grows, which is a cookbook that many of you do have or are familiar with. I'm a health and food blogger. I'm a sustainable farmer. So we live in Bozeman, Montana, or outside Bozeman, Montana. We have 5 acres, and my husband and I are committed to raising as much of our food as possible so that I am that connected to then teach y'all. So, my Arbonne story. I was introduced to Arbonne in 2010, and I joined immediately based on, the company, the philosophy, pure, safe, and beneficial, but also the products, and then the humans that it attracts, and the business model is extraordinary. So I really view Arbonne as my catalyst, and catalysts can be things in your life that you're, going along in this direction, and all of a sudden something hits you and you head off in this direction. And that is Arbonne for me. I joined for, all of these reasons, and then all of a sudden all of those reasons kind of went by the wayside, and I've become who I am within Arbonne. And Arbonne has really given me a huge voice. And so it really brought health into my life in more ways than I ever imagined. So I joined in 2010, the Arbonne's 30 Days to Healthy Living was launched in 2011, and I was still a brand new consultant, and I was sitting in the nosebleed sections of the MGM and was massively skeptical of the 30 Days to Healthy Living until Arbonne opened their mouth and really described the philosophy, which we'll go over. So I've been with Arbonne, I'm going on the 8th year. So before we dive into the products and the 30 Days to Healthy Living, I want to talk about what is health and disease, because these are terms that we throw around a lot, and I really want to get clear before we dive into adding health, because that's what we're really going to focus on tonight. So we have it that health and disease are like next door neighbors, and I want to create a paradigm shift around this. so many times I hear people saying, oh, you know, he was the picture of health and then he ran a marathon and dropped dead of a heart attack. Or she was the picture of health and then she was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. Now, those are very serious things, and I want to be clear that that's not health. That just because somebody looks a certain way doesn't necessarily mean that they're healthy. And that the analogy that I've used is that health and disease are not next door neighbors. That disease is yelling over at health like, hey, health, do you have some sugar that I can borrow? Because, of course, disease is asking for sugar. Do you guys get it? All right. So I want to be clear that they're not that close together, that they are that they're as far apart as the United States, like that they span the United States. That health, I'm going to say, is California, and disease, no offense, New Jersey. I'm going to pick on Jersey. And that every state in between is things that you're doing on a daily basis, things that you're taking on a daily basis, things that you're eating on a daily basis, things that you're breathing on a daily basis, things that you are having relationships with on a daily basis. That everything that you guys do and think and eat and breathe and put on your skin is either taking you more towards California or more towards New Jersey, okay? And then once you're about past the Mississippi, like east of the Mississippi, you most likely have some sort of symptoms or signs or diagnoses, right? And then what falls off the Jersey Shore, right? It's, yes, the Atlantic Ocean's correct answer, but also death. Death happens off the Jersey Shore. So you can either go more towards Jersey or you can more towards California. And Arbonne's products are going to take you more towards California, just to saying. So the disease model is what most Western medicine is based in. It assumes that external stresses causes disease. Oh, I want to say too, you guys will have questions tonight. I want you to ask questions. Just type them in the comments and I will address them after the call, just FYI. So most Western medicine is based on the fact that it assumes that external stress causes disease. It also assumes different parts of the body are unrelated. The treatment is allopathic, which means to treat the opposite. So when you get a bacteria infection, you take an antibiotic. When you get a viral infection, you take a antiviral. When you have anxiety, you take an anxiolytic, right? So we're treating as the opposite, which works some of the time. It does not work all the time. It goes against the body. Now, sometimes we need to do that, but naturopathic medicine and Arbonne's products help the body do its own job, which is to be in alignment and be healthy. So how do you define disease? Disease is an abnormal condition of the body or mind that causes dysfunction, discomfort, or distress. Pathology is a physical change that can be seen with the naked eye on a lab test, a medical image, or under a microscope, right? Easy. When I ask people what is disease, they're like, oh yeah, I totally got this. When I ask people what is health, it's a little more challenging. Most people don't necessarily know how to define health and really own it, and then yet how to get there. Oftentimes, when I ask what is health, people say it's the absence of something. Like it's like, oh, I didn't wake up with a migraine today. Oh, I don't have back pain, which is a step in the right direction. But let's go even further than that. Like, how awesome can you feel in your body? So then what is health? So I say this all the time. This is the question that I ask. It's the analogy that I start with. The question is this: how do you light a darkened room? And it's not a trick question. It's you add light in one form or fashion. I don't care how. You can turn on your iPhone. You can light a candle. You can turn on, blow out the wall and the sunshine comes in. The point is that there was no anti-darkness machine that came in. You stuck up to the side of the wall and sucks all the darkness out and then adds light, right? You had to do something. You had to add something such that darkness cannot exist. With light, darkness cannot exist. This is exactly how I view, and I really kind of want you guys to write this down. With health, disease cannot exist. Period. Because the body wants innately to be healthy. It will do everything under its power to be healthy. And it'll compensate for a really, really long time until it can't anymore, right? And the compensation are signs of toxicity, which we'll go over. So then how do you define health? Health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. And it's like the geeky 8th grade science word is, it's a state of homeostasis. which is a mouthful. So my definition of health is balance and freedom, because with balance, all the things that you're putting in your body, on your body, the things that you're thinking, the things that you're breathing, your body has to sort through all of that stuff, right? And let go of what it doesn't need, and then hang on to what it does need to build you. And then that's balance. And then you are then freedom, to go do what it is that you were put on this planet to go do. So, great. How do we do that? So how do you add health? How do you add light? Now, this is following nature's laws. Write these down. These things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things, is following nature's laws. They are the foods that you choose to eat, which, notice I did not say diet, because when I hear the word diet, I think of die or restriction or counting calories or temporary. So it's foods that we're choosing to put in our body. The way we move our body, movement is huge. Notice that I did not say exercise. I'm not a huge fan of going to the gym. No offense to any of the gym rats out there. Movement is key, right? Those of you who are on my Facebook page know that I have horses. That's how I move my body. We have a farm. We are made up of pulleys and levers and hinges and things that are designed to move. So go do that on a daily basis. What we choose to drink, ideally it is half your body weight in ounces of water a day. What counts as water? Water and the fizz sticks and the detox tea. Just saying. So how we breathe, how many breaths a day? Well, ideally it's 100 conscious deep breaths. How you sleep, ideally it's 7.5 to 9.5 hours a night in total darkness. And then how we eliminate or detox physically and emotionally. Ideally, physically, it'd be 1 to 3 bowel movements a day. And then emotionally, it'd be like, you're allowed to cry, you're allowed to laugh, you're allowed to express your feelings. And then how we play and enjoy our life, which outside of Arbonne is my favorite topic to talk about. So play is super important. So write all of those down, and then notice with play, you get movement most likely. And then with movement, you get sleepy most likely. And then with sleep, you wake up and you're hungry, and then you drink. And so it's like all of them are woven together in a perfect following nature's laws kind of way. Okay. Now, if I've been like really kind of struggling how to put the concept of what I do into a few words, and I'm going to muscle through this, so bear with me. What I do is, if you guys draw on a piece of paper a really big fat arrow going down and then a tiny little arrow going up, and the big fat arrow going down on the left-hand side, write stress. And then the tiny little arrow pointing up, and they're pointing like this to each other, write internal resistance. So that's how most of us are living our life. The external stress is more than our internal resistance can handle. Why? Because we're depleting ourselves. How? We're not eating the right foods. We're not necessarily in the right environment. We're not necessarily in the right job. We're not necessarily in the right relationships. Like, all of these things are working against us to deplete us. So then when external stress happens, our body's like, I'm sorry, I can't compensate anymore. And then we get dis-ease or disease, right? What I do is teach people how to build their internal resistance. So this bottom arrow is really big and the top arrow is really tiny, right? The bottom arrow is your internal resistance. It's super strong. So that when the external stress, this other tiny little arrow coming down, is like, no big deal. It's like, oh, yeah, I'm picking up, like the first thing that came to mind was like, oh, I got fired today. It's like, oh, well. So it didn't completely knock your socks off. What Arbonne's products are doing is helping you build your internal resistance. That is super duper important because so many of us are going through our life depleted. So again, it's like, how do we build the internal resistance, that arrow, so that when the external stressors come on our life, it doesn't completely knock us? We support, this is how. We follow nature's laws, which is what I said before, those 7 things. And then we also support the major organs of elimination. Why? The organs of elimination are detoxing. There are filters. There are exhaust pipes of the body. They're the doors, the windows that help us let go of toxicity, because we're exposed to toxicity internally and externally, no matter which way you shake it. Right? So internally, each one of our cells is metabolizing, like essentially, lack of a better way of communicating this, pooping and peeing into our system. Our body has to deal with that. So it's like, okay, no big deal, Susie Q. We have the skin. We can let go of toxicity through sweat. We have the lungs. We can let go of toxicity through breath. We have the GI. We can let go of toxicity through feces. And then we have the kidneys. The kidneys might be my favorite because they actually are the smallest of the eliminatory organs. They're the smallest, but surface area wise, they are the largest. So drink water or fizzes or detox tea. So supporting those organs is super important for health. That's one way to build that internal resistance. Another analogy that I use with the eliminatory organs, many of you have heard me say this, is the analogy of the bathtub. So imagine your body is a bathtub, and the drains of the body are the kidneys, the skin, the lungs, and the GI. We're adding things called food, water, air, thoughts, things we're putting on our skin, and the body holds on to what it needs and then lets go of what it doesn't. And assuming that those drains are not clogged with crap, they're all functioning optimally. Like, you're putting stuff in and the drains are great. It's like the kidneys are like, you're drinking enough water, Susie Q. The skin's like, you're sweating every day, Susie Q. The lungs are like, you're breathing every day, Susie Q. And the GI is like, you're pooping every day, Susie Q. We're good to go. Most of us are not supporting those organs on a daily basis. So what happens is those drains get clogged, and then toxicity will continue to build up. Then we get symptoms like a migraine, joint pain, IBS, eczema, psoriasis, PMS. All of these things are symptoms. We keep doing what we're doing. That's the body warning you, right? Those symptoms are the body warning you. We keep doing what we're doing, then the toxicity will continue to build up until we get dis-ease. And if you're listening to what your body is saying, signs of toxicity are anxiety, depression, headaches, seasonal allergies, food allergies, insomnia, fatigue, muscle stiffness, hot flashes, thinning of the hair, thinning of the nails, etc., 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 right? That's the body going, excuse me, pay attention. And if we do pay attention, and then you're like, well, great. What do we do about that? Like, how are we going to shift into adding health? How do we press the restart button? One option is to do Arbonne's 30 Days to Healthy Living. The 30 Days to Healthy Living Fit program focuses on 6 key areas. 1, focuses on eating whole foods. It focuses on increasing nutrient absorption, which is key. It focuses on eliminating allergenic and addictive foods. So they are gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine for 30 days. Remember, guys, this is a 30-day deal. It's a 30-day elimination diet, essentially, is what it is. It's asking you to pay attention to your life through food. Yay! Go do that, okay? So eliminating allergenic and addictive foods, gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine, and then balancing your blood sugar. It also focuses on supporting the organs of elimination and natural detoxification, which our body was designed to do. It's like, what are we doing on a daily basis to support them? Arbonne came up with products to help you support those organs. The other and last thing that it focuses on, in my opinion, is listening to your body, which is all I ask of you. I want you guys to start paying attention to your body, because your body is paying attention to you, and it's asking for a lot of things that may or may not be working for it. So please pay attention. It really is focusing on supporting your body from the inside out. The 30 days also allows us to press pause. Why is this important? So I'm super fascinated by the GI tract. I've been doing a lot of research, a lot of continuing eds, a lot of podcasts on our microbiome. So our microbiome is the bacteria that inhabit us. And if you guys think about it, like, we are a condominium for bacteria. And we can either be a super fancy, lovely, clean, high-structured, really nicely furnished condominium for our bacteria. And our bacteria are super happy, and they're like such good tenants. They take care of the building. They love on us. Or you can be a rundown, falling apart, leaky pipe condominium, and your bacteria are going to not love you. And so how can we set up our gut, specifically the bacteria that line our GI tract? How can we set up our gut to help us win? Because the bacteria in our GI tract help us break down food, absorb nutrients, they make vitamins for us, and they can play a key component in our immune system. They also can run this guy, okay? So they play a huge role in our neurotransmitters. So if your GI tract is working for you really positively, you will be a very happy human. If it is not, you won't. And you're going to be craving all sorts of weird things. You're going to be feeling super bloated and uncomfortable. You're probably going to have, some sort of other diagnoses and or symptoms. So what the 30 Days to Healthy Living is doing is helping us kind of reset our microbiome in our gut, which I cannot stress enough. If your GI tract is unhealthy, you are not healthy, period. And so again, what the 30 Days to Healthy Living is doing is not only kind of waking you up in terms of what food is working for you, but it's also waking your bacteria up and them going, wait, we were living in a broken down condo and now we're living in a really nice place. And so you're going to get really nice tenants that are going to move in. I hope this is resonating. It's like, you know what? I like, my brain works in all sorts of weird analogies. So please, if it's not clarified, just ask questions. Okay, so I view the kit as an elimination diet, essentially, right? And the kit is then the bridge to going from the standard American diet, which is abbreviated the SAD diet, which I think is very appropriate, to eating consciously and really creating a true lifestyle shift. So then what is entailed? So within this kit, within the 30 Days to Healthy Living, you get a protein powder. Comes in chocolate, vanilla, and or chai. The protein base is pea rice and cranberry. That's a new berry. Cranberry. And the coolest thing about pea rice and cranberry protein, well, two things. One is that it's a complete protein when you put the three of those together. And then the other thing is it does not contain gluten, dairy, soy, gluten, dairy, and soy, which a lot of the protein powders out there contain. Now, why this is important, whey, there's a YouTube video that I did on this, but whey is still dairy based, and dairy still is acidic in the body, which means it's pulling minerals from the body to alkalize. And so it's actually doing, when you consume dairy products pretty much in any way, shape, or form, you are pulling nutrients from the body. So why Arbonne's protein powder is awesome is that it is vegan based. So it's pea rice and cranberry. It also contains coenzyme Q10, alfalfa, and kelp, which are all potent antioxidants, which we are all deficient in. And it tastes super awesome, right? And if people are concerned about the sugar content, tell them to cut it with the protein boost that you can get 25% off, I think is still going on. You can cut it with a protein boost, which has, I believe, 0 sugar and 1 carbohydrate, if I'm remembering correctly. The other product that comes within the 30-day kit is the fiber boost. Now, why do we need fiber? There are two types of fiber. Soluble fiber, which is found in oats, peas, beans, apples, carrots, and other fruits. It dissolves in water to form a gel-like substance, which actually slows down the body, slows down the feces so the body can actually obtain the nutrients. And then the insoluble fiber, which is found in bran, nuts, veggies, that actually increases stool bulk and promotes stool movement. So you need a balance of insoluble fiber and soluble fiber. So the things like your feces is moving fast enough to get through, but it's not, so fast enough that it gets through so it's not like a constipation issue, but then also slow enough so then we can absorb. It's called transit time. So the transit time is from the time you put something in your mouth and the time the transit time is when you put something in your mouth and then it comes out the other end. So a true balance of soluble and insoluble fiber will keep that transit time healthy. The other thing that fiber does is it acts like a sponge for toxicity, which is super important. Now, one of the FAQs that I get with the fiber is that it does sometimes trigger GI distress, especially people with diagnoses like IBS, IBD, Crohn's, and that kind of stuff. So my request for you guys is to really pay attention to how the fiber is making you feel. And if somebody comes at you saying, the fiber, I got really bloated on the program, just tell them to cut the fiber down and then we'll work up from there. So how much fiber do we need? Us as humans, we need about 30 to 35 grams a day, and we're really actually lucky if we get 15. So Arbonne was aware of this and created this really awesome flavorless fiber supplement. The fiber for Arbonne's comes from pea, citrus, apple, oranges, and beets. The other thing that's included in the program, you get these things called fizz sticks. They come in citrus and or pomegranate, and they contain 50 milligrams of caffeine derived from botanicals, which is important because it's more alkalining. They also have B vitamins for energy and to help replete us. So if you guys remember the two arrows, the thing that there's the external stressor and the internal resistance. It's building your internal resistance when the external stress shows up. There's also chromium in there to help balancing blood sugar. And then I would say, you know, people often ask me how many per day to drink. I would say no more than 4 ideally. And the fizz sticks are designed to replace coffee and or sodas. There's a detox tea that contains milk thistle. Okay, so the detox tea is an incredible product because all of the herbs in here are have an affinity for the GI, the kidneys, or the liver. So there's milk thistle, which is liver. There's peppermint, which is GI. There's dandelion, which is kidney. There's fennel, which is GI. There's elder, which is GI. There's parsley, which is GI and liver. There's walnut, which is GI. And then uva ursi is 100% urinary. Like you see uva ursi, just think urinary tract. And then there's licorice, which is also GI and liver. And also actually licorice is really important to support the adrenal glands. So if I was to design a detox tea on my own volition, I would come up with this formula. Like it's freaking brilliant. And then there's a fun detox tea drink that you can make. So it's the detox tea. It's 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar, which helps stimulate digestion. There's cayenne pepper. I put about half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper, which helps the circulatory system. There's 1 tablespoon of cinnamon, which helps balance blood sugar and the GI tract, and then the juice of 1 lemon, which will help the liver detoxify. So you make a tea drink with the detox tea, apple cider vinegar, cayenne, lemon, and cinnamon, and it tastes awesome. I know it may sound kind of disgusting. Please trust me on this one. It's really not that bad. So it's just another fun way to use the detox tea. The other thing that comes in the program are the greens, why are the greens included? Greens are included because humans should be eating, based on studies, 9 cups of vegetables per day. But are we getting that? No, most likely not. So Arbonne created the green balance. They're alkaline forming, they're pH balanced. There's the 4 food group colors. There's red, greens, yellows, and blues. They are lightly heated to enhance nutrient availability. This is super important. Several studies came out to show that, you know, kale raw has X amount of nutrients available, and then kale lightly steamed has more of those nutrients available. So a lot of the greens, or lots of the fruits and veggies that are put into Arbonne's greens are lightly heated or steamed so that we can then absorb more of them. There's a term in medical school, it was eat the rainbow. It's the best multivitamin there is, and or just take your greens. So again, thank you for Arbonne for knowing this, because when in 2011 they launched the 30 Days to Healthy Living, they said we're not what we eat, we are what we absorb. And that is, when I heard that, I was shocked that was the mentality. That is super important because a lot of our GI tracts are shut off. Okay, so then there's also the 7-day cleanse within the program. Again, this is all designed for a 30-day kit, okay? So the protein powder, you can drink 1 to 2 to 3 shakes a day, depending on your schedule. Fizzies, you can have up to 4. Detox tea, you can drink as much as you want. The greens, you can add to your shakes. The fiber, you can add to your shakes. And then the 7-day cleanse, I typically use the 7-day cleanse, which is a formulation of milk thistle, which again has an affinity for the liver. It's a combination of herbs to help aid the digestive support, liver detoxification, elimination, and it also has antioxidants in it, which again we are low in. And I use it on day 14 to day 21 of the cleanse. Think of it as like a really gentle push for the GI and support for the liver. You can add it to 32 ounces of water. You can sip it, you can chug it, whatever is going to work for you guys. I am kind of an odd duck, and I just like squirt the thing. It comes in a little pouch. I squirt it in some water and squirt it in a glass and add about that much of water, and I just drink it. I know that may sound totally ridiculous. Many of you need to add it to 32 ounces of water. Go ahead and do that. I also suggest that people take this with them when they travel because it's really helpful because most people get constipated when they travel. The last thing that's included in the 30-day program is the Digestion Plus. Now, the Digestion Plus is beneficial bacteria. Again, why do we need beneficial bacteria? We have bacteria that line our GI tract. They are called our microbiome. Those of you podcast gurus out there, search microbiome and listen to podcasts on it. It is freaking fascinating what these bacteria can do for us. But in summary, they help us break down and absorb our food. They produce vitamins for us. They play a key component in our immune system, and they also talk to our brain. So we have to have them. And something like 60% of our feces is sloughed off bacteria. So we have to be replenishing them on a daily basis. So even outside of the 30-day program, you have to be taking probiotics in one form or fashion. Now, whether that's fermented food like kimchi, sauerkraut, kefir, kombucha, all of those fermented foods, and or you're taking a probiotic, I would suggest doing both. The 30 days, the Digestion Plus within the 30 days to healthy living should go beyond the walls of the 30 days to healthy living. So the Arbonne's Digestion Plus specifically contains fructooligosaccharides, or FOS, which is actually food for the bacteria. So when it says prebiotic, probiotic, and enzymes on the box, the prebiotic is the food for the bacteria because, again, studies have shown that when you take a probiotic on its own, the bacteria will automatically start replicating, which we want. But if you take a probiotic with a prebiotic, which is a really lovely candlelit dinner for this bacteria, the bacteria will multiply a lot faster. So having the prebiotic in there is really important. Having the enzymes, which are all the things that end in ACE, are the things that we need to break down our food. Enzymes break down things, and we have to break down the hamburger that we just ate. So we need those enzymes. The Digestion Plus also contains peppermint, which again we went over in the tea. It helps support it has an affinity for the gastrointestinal system. And then chamomile is also in there, which is a soother for the GI as well as the nervous system. Because remember, the GI talks to our nervous system, called this guy. So it's really important to support both. So Bacillus coagulans is the beneficial bacteria that is the one strain of beneficial bacteria. The cool thing about Bacillus coagulans is it's dormant in the bottle and it begins growing in the intestines. The best way to take this, I would say, is first thing in the morning. Typically my routine around it is I get up, brush my teeth, I take some apple cider vinegar to help my digestive system, and then I take my Bacillus coagulans, then I go out and feed the animals, and then I come in and eat my breakfast. So I would say take it in the morning on an empty stomach, but all in all, if you don't take it in the morning on an empty stomach, just take it during the day. I don't care when you take it, just take it. But in a perfect world, it would be first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. Taking the probiotic outside of Arbonne's 30 Days to Healthy Living is very important. Now, you guys, if you think about your gut as a city, right? You don't have, Los Angeles doesn't run on just construction workers. There's construction workers, and there's hairstylists, and there's lawyers, and there's doctors, and there's street people, and whatever. So there's there's lots of different varieties of humans to make a city run optimally. So you want to think about your gut like that. So doing Arbonne's Digestion Plus on top of doing fermented foods will benefit your gut. So why do all of this? So that's the plan. You do that for 30 days. Why? Because I told you to. No, just kidding. Well, no, not really. I'm telling you to. Because it builds you. It builds your internal resistance such that when the external stress called life, called 2018 just rolled around, guys, make this your best year. Because it builds you. It wakes you up into what foods are working for you and what are not working for you. So you do that, those products plus whole foods, avoiding gluten, dairy, soy, sugar, alcohol, and caffeine for 30 days. You know what? I can't promise anything for the X amount of humans that are on this call. I will promise that you will wake up into something. You will wake up into what's working for you and what's not working for you in one form or fashion. And the kit supports the organs of elimination, which again is so vital for health. This is how you add light to your life. This is how you add health. Do Arbonne's 30 Days to Healthy Living. Take notes, pay attention, feel awesome, so that you can then go do life awesome, right? And then the foods that I want you guys to focus on, or some of the foods that I want you guys to focus on what to add in with the 30 Days to Healthy Living. Lemons are a really key detoxer in with helping the liver. So the liver detoxes in 2 different pathways, and lemons help one of those pathways. So I squeeze a lemon into I like the citrus fizz sticks. So I squeeze a lemon into my citrus. I'll squeeze a lime into the pomegranate. Citrus really helps with detoxification. Beets are a really cool thing to add into your program. So roasted beets, boiled beets, whatever, they have an affinity for the liver. Avocados are a really awesome source of healthy fat. You can add them to your shakes. It makes them really creamy. Turmeric is one of the coolest superfoods. Add it to your shake. It doesn't really taste like anything, so experiment with that. Cinnamon is also another one that I'm a huge proponent of. It helps balance blood sugar. Cayenne you can add to a multitude of things, depending on how hot you like things, because it really helps the circulatory system. And then kale or any of the greens. Kale, arugula, spinach, all of those guys are just so incredibly good for your liver. So that is the program in a nutshell. I know it was a little bit like drinking out of a fire hose. But guys, ultimately play the 1 degree game. And what is the 1 degree game? I'm not a sailor, but if I was going to put a boat in the water and I'm on the coast of Florida and I want to be in England and my boat is off by 1 degree, by the time I'm supposed to be in England, I will end up somewhere in the Horn of Africa or something, and even over that period of time, I didn't notice the shift. I didn't notice the 1 degree that I was off or on, right? It's a 1 degree thing to do every single day, because I promise you in 365 days, you will be a completely transformed human. And whether it's buying organic eggs or doing the 30 Days to Healthy Living or jumping into your Arbonne business or saying I love you to your husband more, or whatever that 1 degree tiny shift is, will make an enormous difference in your life. And another 1 degree option is that if you guys got something out of this call tonight, I also, complete total side, I teach online classes that are chock-a-block full of this type of information. It's not Arbonne focused, but is like health focused, right? I'm teaching you guys how your body works, how to live your life on fire, because I believe that every single one of you, I'm invested in you. Yes, the health conversation is super fun to have, and yet I want you guys to be able to feel your best so that 2018 can be the greatest year of all time. And that we get to wake up into why we are here, what is our purpose, and how we can feel super awesome doing it. So ask questions. I will. My promise to you guys is I will address the ones that have been asked. I hope this was helpful. Again, I know it was a little bit like drinking out of a fire hose. I will post again my link to my courses. There's several different options to choose from, and I freaking love this game. I love you guys so much, and have an awesome night. Goodbye.